So as a producer, I imagine that also gives you the opportunity to work a lot with Natalia. Is
Yeah,
that yeah?
yeah. I work a lot with the women, especially this last year, like 2020, but like almost entirely with the women.
I think that's great, and definitely there's been an uptake in the quality of women's wrestling and in the quality of women's wrestlers. I'd even go so far as to say WWE right now has the best women's division in wrestling between NXT and the main roster. Personally, and I'm pretty outspoken about NXT,
Yeah,
but I enjoy the women's matches the most when I watch.
yeah.
And I
Like
think
I'm gonna be biased, obviously, but I 100% agree.
yeah. Because, I mean, you look at all those girls, some of them made it to the main roster now, the Bianca Belairs, the Rhea Ripleys.
Yeah,
It's like we're seeing this new generation of great women wrestlers
yeah,
where it's
yeah.
like the evolution. And that women's division, they put the rest of the wrestling to shame right now, where any of those girls can go and they can main event a show and it won't be seen as an oddity.
Nope.
They bring it. In
Yep.
terms of the wrestling action, they're in fantastic shape, great cardiovascular shape, and the creativity too. So definitely, you're doing a great job there.
Like
Um,
what you just said too, in terms of cardio. Like obviously you say that, and then instantly in my head, you think back to just this weekend where Rhea and Bianca in the Royal Rumble and how much time they put in there, and then you see the energy that those two had at the very end when it
yeah.
just comes down to those two. It gives me goosebumps thinking about the ending with those two.
Hmm.
It was a very cool concept. It was if you're a fan, like I tried to view things the way I viewed them when I was 10, maybe not so much the way I view things when I'm 20 and I've been wrestling, and I try to view things as much as a fan as I can. And which obviously is a hard thing. And you understand, you've been wrestling for 15 years.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of untrain your eye and go back to being it's a very tricky thing. But like I just was picturing in my head, if it comes down to those two as a fan, you right away you can't call who's gonna win. And then B, you're like, wow, like these are both like they're both brand new. Like Bianca, I guess she technically got called up at WrestleMania last year, but then didn't do a lot on Raw. And then since since the split, the draft in I believe October, she started Bianca started doing a bunch on SmackDown, and you started to see who this girl is, and I
Hmm.
think endless potential. And
Yeah.
then Rhea, same thing. She's so young. Like kind of to your point, like this is a girl now, Rhea, her age, like she's someone who's I don't know this because I haven't 100% spoken to her about it, but like I just can assume like she's someone who came up on like watching Natty wrestle or watching even like she wasn't in the company, 6-7 years ago when like when that first takeover is happening, or even
Hmm.
that NXT arrival where you had Paige and Emma, and then at that
Yeah.
first takeover you have Natty and Charlotte, and you have these matches, and you started seeing these women's matches really taken off. And so someone like Rhea, she's a young girl at the time watching this, and this is what she got to come up on. So now we're starting to see that. Now we're going to start seeing the generation after this
Hmm.
is going to, like, you got to think, how good is that woman talent going to be in this next generation that's coming up on Sasha versus Bailey, or Natty versus Becky, Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky main event WrestleMania. What women do we have in the woodwork that are going to come up? It's going to be insane
Yeah,
to
the
me.
bar just keeps getting set higher and
Yeah,
higher. And when I look at two like Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, I mean, they're both the total packages. They
yeah,
both, they look great. They have the in-ring skill and they have the mic skills to go along with it.
yeah.
And so, I mean, if things can keep going in that direction, it's going to be very competitive, and it's just going to bring out the best in everyone. Much like a guy like myself who's, a little younger than you, but seeing a guy like you who can go in there and do all those things, and it inspires me to want to be able to bring that same kind of A game.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it's cool that, you get to work with Natty and stuff. My girlfriend's also a wrestler,
Okay.
and some of my favorite moments are, when we get to do some mixed tags, or,
Yeah. Yeah.
giving her, some pointers when we're training together, that kind of thing. And I think it's awesome that you guys have had such a long-standing, awesome relationship, and that you still get to, see each other at work every day doing something that you love. I think that's awesome.
Man, I've been very lucky and very, very blessed. I can't say that enough. It's fun. It's fun, and with WWE, what's really cool is a lot of things. Like, for example, like we're in St. Pete at Tropicana Field, and so every Monday and Friday when I drive down there, I know exactly the drive from my house. I know there's certain things that are like almost like Groundhog Day, which is funny because today is Groundhog's Day, but there's certain things that are Groundhog's Day, but then also the cool thing with WWE is like no two days are ever the same. They're always different. You never know like what your match is going to entail. What do I have today? Okay, well, we have to do this. Like there's no 2 days are the same, and that's what keeps it really fun and fresh for me.